What's up, Rovers? You already know who I am. Today I've got something special for the community. Some of you might remember the configs I released previously, and the feedback from those was honestly incredible. So I decided to return with something even better this time around. But before we get into everything, there are a few things I want to explain first. Well, I've actually been away for a couple of months to be precise. But I came back for Hiyuki's banner. And while I was here, I figured I should leave something behind for my community. Originally, I didn't even plan on building configs this time. My plan was simple. Just log in, play for a bit, gather resources, and then uninstall the game again. I was planning to wait for the banner and just play it later on cloud gaming instead. But things didn't exactly go that way. While playing the game again, I ended up creating a few new configs because the default configs were not doing it for me. And surprisingly, they turned out really well. So I wanted to share it with my community. As you can see in the gameplay shown in this video, the configs are running pretty smoothly overall. Now if you pay close attention, you might notice a few subtle frame drops here and there. That's completely normal in this situation. It has nothing to do with the configs. My phone storage is basically filled to the brim. And on top of that, I'm also screen recording while playing, which can cause small performance dips. If you compare my phone storage space, you'll understand exactly what I mean. You can see the before and after installation, and honestly, I don't have much space left on this thing anymore. So yeah, my phone is definitely struggling a little bit, which is probably why I'll end up uninstalling the game again after this. Alright, now let's talk about the configs themselves. This time around, I created 4 different configurations. Each one is designed for a different level of device performance so more people in the community can actually use them. The configs included in this pack are low, mid, high, and ultra. Each one pushes the game differently, depending on what your device is capable of handling. So before installing anything, it's very important that you choose the correct config for your processor. Installing something your phone can't handle will obviously cause overheating, frame drops, or unstable performance. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So let's quickly go through which processors each config is designed for. Let's start with the low config. This one is designed for devices with processing power similar to processors like the Snapdragon 720, Snapdragon 680, and the Helio G99. These are the lower-end processors that I personally used as references while building this configuration. Now I haven't tested every single low-end processor out there, so if your device has a chip that performs around the same level as these, it should still run the config just fine. These are simply the processors I can confidently reference from my testing. Next is the mid-range config. This configuration targets devices running processors between the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 down to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. And as a matter of fact, I personally use a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, so this configuration was tested extensively on my own device. If your processor falls somewhere within this range, it should run the config very well. If your processor is below this level, I'd recommend proceeding carefully and testing performance gradually. Now moving on to the high config. This configuration is designed for more powerful processors like the Snapdragon 8 Gen Elite, down to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in particular should deliver very consistent frame rates with this configuration. I also tested this config on my Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and surprisingly it handled it pretty well. Although after longer play sessions, there was a bit of overheating involved, but performance-wise it still held up nicely. The Dimensity 8200 Ultimate is also capable of running this configuration. So again, you may need to compare your processor with these chips to see if your device fits into this performance range. And finally, we have the Ultra config. Now this one is for the absolute top tier devices. Ideally, you should be running the latest flagship processors or using something like a 𝗪𝘃𝗫𝗀𝗪 gaming device. Devices with processors equivalent to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 or Dimensity 8200 Ultimate should be able to run it. However, I do want to be honest here. During very heavy lighting effects and intense scenes, I cannot guarantee perfectly consistent frame pacing. So always choose the configuration that your device can handle comfortably. Now that you know which config fits your device, let's quickly go over how to install them properly. After downloading the config pack, navigate to the following directory on your phone: android-data-com.𝗪𝗃𝗫𝗀𝗪, 𝗪𝗃𝗫𝗀𝗪 client, save config Android. Inside that Android folder, simply place the config files there and overwrite the existing files. Make sure the files keep their original names and don't move them to any other folder. Once they're placed correctly, the game will automatically load the settings the next time you launch Wuthering Waves. Also, if anyone needs help with the in-game settings or the filter setup, make sure you check the README files included in the download. There are actually 2 of them. One README contains the installation instructions and device recommendations. The second README contains the exact in-game filter settings and adjustments used in this video. So if you want your game to look exactly like what you're seeing here, make sure you follow those settings carefully. Now, this next part is very important. Please do not try to play developer and start changing random things inside the config files. Seriously, I spent days working on these configurations, researching commands, testing different values, and understanding how the game engine responds to each command. Every single line inside those configs is there for a reason. So if you go inside and start tweaking things without understanding what they do, you might end up breaking the entire configuration. And if that happens, I honestly won't be responsible for the outcome. So please, install the config, overwrite the files, launch the game, and leave everything exactly the way it is. Trust the process. If you run into any issues, crashes, or performance problems, make sure to let me know in the comments or send me a message on X. My username there is the same as my YouTube channel. Also, once you try the configs, drop a comment and let me know what device you're using, which config you installed, and how the performance turned out for you. That feedback helps me improve future configurations and helps other people in the community choose the right one for their devices. If you enjoyed the video and found the configs useful, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more optimization guides and Wuthering Waves content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.